My mistake on that one. Still getting used to Streamlabs being ass. Ugh. And I forgot to charge my fucking neck set, so we're running on fumes for this one. I heard this mod's short, so maybe it'll work out. Today kind of sucked. I had to do a lot of shit. Hey, Robert. Yeah, the mic's working. Hey, Funds. I can finally see my mouse on Wani Gator, but I haven't switched to it yet, and that's the problem. Someone made a mod about the Acrobacadabra fic. I don't know. I don't read fanfic. Only first chapter, that's what I heard. More supposedly to come. Well, seeing as it's just like an A to B story, it shouldn't be too hard to just script. I mean, it's not like a multi-choice kind of thing where there's a scoring system. It's quite literally a visual novel. The visual part will take more time than the novel part. Well, I guess if it means like making new assets, then yeah. But then again, last second save was made in 3 months. For as big as that was crazy. Will you play any other mods tonight? I don't know because I didn't charge my neck set. It's running off the fumes from yesterday because it slipped my mind between going out to get change for laundry, which is like walking a few blocks away to a CVS, coming back, doing laundry, then going out and picking up trash around the apartments just because I wanted to. It's something I do on and off just to get my mind off of shit. I come back and then I go on the treadmill inside. I literally did anything but fucking But just putting the fucking neck set on charge, so I'm paying for it because of my fucking ADD. It's great. Last second save creators took Pervidin or some shit. No way normal human beings can do so much output in 3 months. Well, I don't think they ever announced anything, so it's based on their word, I guess. Hey, Dr. Coconut. I mean, if I really have to, my ears have been feeling somewhat better. I can do earbuds if I have to. It's just I don't want to start anything up again after I just fucking felt better, you know? I'm still dealing with like my right eyeball kind of twitching occasionally. My toes shut up, so I don't know. I'm thinking about like getting some legitimate hydrators and not just the bootleg stuff from that are like $2 at the store I go to. I'm just gonna go get the high quality stuff. Maybe that's my problem. Anyways, I've been rambling on too long, so come on. There we go. No, it hid the mouse again, so now I gotta use arrow keys. Amazing. I hate Streamlabs already. Wani be the Gator. That's probably the biggest thumbnail picture I've seen for a mod. Authors Mel7Blue, modding and art. Acrobra Cadabra, writing and story. A final look at the building became too much to bear, and now somehow Inco's the Gator too. Which, whatever that means. Ending one cope. What did I expect? A relationship, I guess. A normal relationship. One that I tried hard to get, with all the effort I could. But the situation wasn't normal. Olivia wasn't normal. My hands remain in my kangaroo pockets, my unbruised eye managing to guide me towards the open gate, leaving the hospital where she remained in her state. All thanks to me. It wouldn't have worked out. And it didn't. Everyone suffered for it. A relationship's just wishful thinking, just moments of shared warmth before it all goes cold. Is it all ever worth it? It wasn't supposed to be like this. I looked up, coming to a slow stop and blinking behind my shades in thought. It was true. It wasn't supposed to. And it's not worth it. Looking back, I saw the empty hallway to Olivia's room, past the waiting area, realizing it was likely the last time I'd ever see it. Sorry, Olivia. I'd visit and spend time, if the staff let me, if the pains let me, if I could. I feel something, a pain, not from the bruise over my eye that had gone numb long ago, but from deep inside me. But it's squashed down. I'll miss her. I was about to head to the metro when I saw him. Guts. Pet Rat was currently focused on the window of Olivia's room, beady eyes staring at the glass. Guts. I whispered before kneeling down and to offer a hand for him to climb up on. Come on, Guts. But he doesn't budge. He doesn't take notice of me at all. So I sigh. All right, Guts. I slowly stood back up. Goodbye. I continue on my way, thinking about looking back at the building one last time. Is he gonna say the N-word? Then something compels me, that festering pain in my chest forcing me to look. Her head slowly and reluctantly turns, finally looking at the window of her room. I couldn't see much through my shades, wondering why I was even bothering. It was only when I raised it over my eyes that I saw through untinted lenses. Just Olivia laying there behind the glass, with nobody there to watch over her. Alone. And I just finally saw how unfair that was. But she was in there and I was out here. And with that, my denial faded like a dying light bulb, giving way to something much, much better, a burning realization that it was all my fault. Anger. Anger I should have felt a long, long time ago. Finally directed at the correct target. Me. What did I expect? Olivia wasn't normal. Oh boy, chat. All the hospital floors included in the thumbnail. All the effort I could. Also, Inco. Let's go see Hank and File. Yeah, that's true. Not to offend anyone, but this mod made me laugh hard. You'll see why later. Say trigger 3 times to turn into a dinosaur. You'll never expect what kind of dinosaur. But neither was I. It was like a video essay running fast forward through my head, along with Hank and File. Soundless but detailed enough for me to recall the words heard and said to her that night. I'm realizing the worst of its moments came from my own mouth. Come on, don't embarrass me. Still love you, even despite it all. Mia was right about you. That last one, followed by me saying Olivia was like a toddler throwing a tantrum. That was wrong. I was the spoilt, clueless brat with a savior complex who was throwing the biggest, most destructive tantrum of all. And because of that, I had put her in a fucking coma. What are you doing, Inco? It's not worth it. Shaky hands ran over to the side of my head before finding my shades and just slowly crushing them as I balled my fists together, glass shards piercing into my skin. I just stood there and watched as blood began to drip between my fingers, finally feeling the pain on the outside. I dropped the remaining pieces of the ground. You mean on the ground? Give it one last good stomp with my foot, firming my shoe over the discarded pieces. Did I ever ask what was wrong rather than put the words in her maw? Or the right choices? Or make the right choices, sorry. Had I ever done anything right by her? And because I was here and she was there, I realized, no, I didn't. My anger gives way to a sense of clarity, and I bargained for the time I had squandered and moments I had misused. Damn you, Hank and File! I wish I had made an actual attempt to understand what Olivia was going through. Wish I had stopped thinking that I knew better, taking the choice to choose from her claws. I wish I had avoided the school politics of Ben and Mia. I wish I had never broken her heart and her trust. I wish we were still back in Miss Prockling's boring class, sharing doodles with one another. But no, and neither would have done anything. Because at the end of the day, I'd still be Inco, the skinny who squandered it all. I closed my eyes, struggling to keep the tears within, causing the swelling that Damien had rightfully delivered over to my left eye to finally sting. And through it I saw Guts, still waiting there, standing on his hind legs, still trying to see into Olivia's window. I decided to bring Guts back to her. I walked forward, the rat finally taking notice of me as if sensing my intent to head back into the building. Yet he seemed cautious, head raised in alarm as he stared at me like a stranger. Never like he had done that before. And I was still with her. Guts. I knelt down, offering my bloodied hand. I'll bring you back to her. I promise. Yet the rat remains there, sniffing the air around me wearily. But I didn't give up. I'm sorry for letting them take you away. Closed my eyes, letting out a shakier breath. You should have remained in there with her, even if she might never know you're there. Maybe that spoiled dirtbag I used to call myself before would have thought it was so stupid that I was talking to a rat. But it worked, the rat slowly approaching before climbing up into my wrist, avoiding all the blood on my hand, giving his trust to me one last time. Thank you, Guts. Oh, I'm gonna catch up at 1.5 times, okay. Wait, Inco found his way into Wani. Oh no. I have a fic on the second screen. The mod is 1-to-1 copy paste, even with the pieces of the ground mistake. Really? So they kept the error in. That's crazy. Absolutely unbelievable. But I guess it's fine since it's an adaptation, yeah. A faithful one indeed. Inco dies of typhus plague due to the contact of contaminated rat with an open wound. Hilarious. We got Purple Stank 2.0. I whispered, standing back up to leap into my kangaroo pocket and hide away before looking up at the hospital. Although the door to Olivia's room was right past the waiting room, now part of me was wondering how I was ever going to even get in. Excuse me. I instinctively stepped aside, some EMT hurriedly pushing a roller stretcher with a patient on top forward, having left the ambulance running at the gate. Back was wide open, showing a whole array of spare medic uniforms. Oh no! Inca would never steal, man. An idea formed and was enacted as I quickly climbed into the back. You're on camera, Inco! After changing, I reemerged in most of the uniform over my blue jacket, checking to see if Guts was still in there, confirming his presence with a tiny squirm. Now with a medical mask and an EMT cap to hide my face better, I was confident it'd be convincing if I didn't draw any attention to my bruise as I hopped off the back and walked to the entrance, entering through the doors while the receptionist nurse hardly batted an eye. Wait a minute! We don't have any skinnies working here. What are you doing here? God, I think I had to be a total fraud just to see her one last time. After a second of moving down the hallway, I immediately curved to the left, entering Olivia's room. She was still asleep, and for all the doctors and her family knew, possibly for the rest of her life. I took off the heavy EMT jacket, letting Guts crawl out of my kangaroo pocket on his own, rat climbing off the side of my clothing before reaching the floor, quickly running up to her bedstand and climbing back up. Before long, he nestled up against her claw, crawling beside it to remain there, to just remain there, being a better example of someone who actually cared and supported her. I dropped the mask and cap from my head, walking up to sit at one of the chairs beside the medical bed. And I just remained sat there, looking at her chest slowly rise and fall, the only sounds being the heartbeat monitor and the push and pull of the oxygen machine, seeing her quietly breathe into it as her eyes remained closed and I like a heavy bramble bush growing into my chest, making it hard to breathe as the sadness finally kicked in, my legs shaking. The tears come out like the seams of faulty pipes. The heavy sobs from are forcefully pried out. Every pulse a further pain as double over slightly, holding a bloodied hand over my mouth as I smeared red over my jaw and cheeks. And through it all, I somehow managed to speak it. I'm sorry. I tilted my head and gritted my teeth, shutting my eyes closed to give way more stinging tears. I'm so sorry. My breath hitches, somehow able to regain some semblance of word and structure. I never should have done it, and yet I did. I breathed in a heaving breath. Heaving breath? All I ever did was hurt you. I then devolved back into sobs, clutching the side handles of the bed, leaning my own forehead into the back of my knuckles. I should be the one on that bed. I repeated that, gulping back the last of my sorrows. It should have been me. But I wouldn't have to live with that fact for long. I'm jumping out of the window! Slowly, I looked up, white knuckles loosening as I breathed in slowly before breathing out, feeling the last of what I'd feel. Acceptance. Acceptance that I was not long for this world, and that the last thing I wanted to do was leave a few parting words to her, however meaningless they were, giving up the last of my hope for the girl who used to love me. When I shook my head. You wake up again. Don't ever forgive me for what I did. Let me remain a shitty memory that you can recall in a better life. I smiled. And you cared about Mr. Eideken, his teachings, and his hope. I should have seen it with the misery you showed after his passing. How joy seemed to have left your life and replaced it with pain. I briefly closed my eyes, sucking in a breath. It should have been obvious to me, but I was useless and stupid, brushing past it and acting as if it was wrong for you to feel that way. I spoke, despite knowing she would never hear me. Trust the people who actually gave you the love and kindness, not frauds like me. I hope one day you can find love for life again, a life without me. A single tear beaded from my eye, rolling down my cheek. Olivia. Seconds of quiet ambience passed, bloodied hands resting on my lap before I let out one final sigh, about to stand up. A subtle shift in my peripheral. I blinked, peering down at her claw, guts resting beneath it. When had he gotten between her digits like that? Unless... No. Guts must have pried himself through her unconscious fingers. It was not possible that she had moved her claw, even as the rat sniffed around his new position in what almost appeared to be some happy excitement. Just my mind playing tricks, perhaps one last desperate gambit to make me reconsider. But even so, I was set on the last path before me, the last choice I was set to make. Fully standing, I gave one last silent goodbye to Olivia and Guts, quietly opening the first floor window to let some fresh air in before turning around to exit the door. Yeah, we're falling through the first floor window. We're definitely going to sprain an ankle on this one. I was back to feeling nothing, much like how I felt before when I tried to leave the hospital without considering. Every stage of grief now complete would cause everything to become dull and lifeless as this world began to melt around me. Is this how you felt, Olivia? How much worse did I make it feel? Where are we, chat? Medic TF2. Inco does the hitman. He's even bald as 47. And he's able to see without his prescription glasses. Yeah, that's true. Crazy. Nope, I'm out. Goodbye. I can't see this. Okay, dog. Like in Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, he became the Rat Man, and that fixed his eyesight. Yeah, he just had to touch Rat. The respirator, not the oxygen machine. The respirator. Ventilator, had to look it up. Is this a mod? Yeah. Spotting the elevator, I moved towards it as some nurse came to a stop in the hallway, trying to speak to me, but all that came out of their snout was just some sound and noise, nothing I could register or understand as I entered the opening doors, closing behind me. 15 floors. More than enough. Oh no. It's time to finger size. Or side. I press the top one. My thoughts wander and wander. Of Damien, Mr. and Mrs. Payne, Vinny, Liz, Mr. Ideken. Don't worry, Mr. Ideken, I'm gonna see you soon. How I let each of them down by letting her down. Good sprite, I'll say that, yeah. Oh no, he has weird eyes. These are the eyes of the punched. A few more unbearable seconds passed before finally reopening to the rooftop where the helipad was. It's funny how they depict it. Some actor standing at the edge of the... Yeah, it does show. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. That's on me. It never showed. Steam never showed until I started using goddamn fucking Streamlabs. So this is a Streamlabs thing. If regular OBS never did that, I'm gonna have to figure that out. Pray for me on that, because I'm gonna forget. Some actor standing at the edge of the skyscraper, tears in his eyes, remembering their families and friends or whatever the fuck. But in reality, you don't stand there, contemplating everything you did up until this point, up until what led you here. You don't think. The sprite just slides in. You just do. Oops, I dropped my Inco sprite. And I did, finding the nearest ledge and taking the last step off, feeling that brief vertigo of watching as 15 floors race past me, wind whipping against my jacket and skin. Splat! That was more like a plop of, like, books or whatever. Then again, do we really want to reenact the noise of a human body just flopping against the pavement? Before meeting the impact as everything shatters and stings, breaks and bends. I lay there in the most excruciating pain I ever felt in my life. Every part of my being was in complete agony, and pain gives way to sound. The doctor! I hear something as blood begins to fill my mouth from my collapsed lungs. That nurse with the extreme rat phobia heard, either having discovered me or from an open window. I hope Guts was hiding this time. And I get my answer. She's awake. Thank you. Just thank you. Olivia Halford was finally going to wake up in a world without me in it. It's better this way. I breathed again, finding it much easier to do without the blood clogging my throat. My eyes were shut closed, feeling as if it were impossible to open them. Ears picking up muffled voices on the outside, while my brain picked up on its first thought. Oh no, the birth of Thinko. I survived. How? Trying to open my eyes again, managing to lift both my heavy lids to let light seep through. Oh god, what's looking at me? Is that supposed to be Trent? I was so bright that I was blinding, taking a few moments to adjust as I stared through a clear pane. A glass container that was fitted over my head. What? I tried to lift my head up, only for my mouth to just bump against it. Resting my head back down, Wait. I repeated the action, achieving the same result. Nostrils now smudging up against the glass. I wonder how the hell the front of my head was even reaching that presumed distance. I paused, my blue eyes looking into the glass pane, as the light reflected it back to me, now revealed in a bright hospital lamp. I didn't have blue eyes, but they widened all the same. Widened as my diminutive gator-like snout opened, widened as I noticed my blue scales shift in place of skin, widened at the newborn dinosaur that stared back. What was this? What the hell was this? My snout quivered as I struggled to move, shifting in the blanket that was tightly wrapped around me, constricting my movement. He's awake! My panicked eyes peered over at the source of the muffled voice outside, hearing the thump of footsteps. And restless too, a good sign. Can I see him, Dr. Akefu? A dinosaur then appeared, the head of an elderly, dust-colored Cochisaurus wearing a doctor's coat and a tight yellow scarf, white sideburns on his cheek. I almost seized in fear at how big he looked from the inside of where I was, his eyes squinting as if checking for something. Patience, Mr. Nero. I must remove the oxygen hood first and check if he is now breathing properly. Two hands were placed on the glass pane before being lifted, a hiss sounding off as air escaped. Breathing suddenly felt denser, but still breathable. My shock ironically preventing me from hyperventilating as I felt the cold metal of a stethoscope pressing against my lungs and chest. Seems to be no further complications despite him being unconscious when he was delivered. He rose back to full height, talking to the other voice. Nurse Toru here will take you back to your wife's room now that we've finished the stapling. My eyes desperately tried to find where the hell I was as he conversed with some unseen dino. I'll also send the prosthetic to your home in 6 months' time. Let me adjust here. Suddenly, I felt warm claws on me, lifting my bundle up as I squirmed, trying to get away. Inco? I froze up. What? Looking up, I stared at the total stranger holding me. A male, like pleurodon with blonde hair, cut short but wavy on the top as tiny crocodilian-esque ridges poked through the strands, in pattern to the back of his head, continuing on to what I would assume to be his back. The sides of his arms, like many aquatic dinosaurs, have extra fins for extra swimming power. He smiled, his hazel eyes filled with love, warmth, and relief. I suddenly felt unwell. He gave us all a big scare. He then blinked back a tear, repeating what he said. Scared us a lot. Let's go find your mother and give her the good news. I tried to say something, but all that came out was a strained gurgle. How? He held me close, looking down as he began moving towards a sudden doorway. A purple-scaled Fukui raptor in a nurse's uniform and with a curly afro gesturing a claw to the exit. This way, Mr. Nero. I was taken out into the hallway, orange light bleeding into color the sterile white walls with a pastel blend. It was coming from outside, stirring my head to the left as I managed to somehow peek from my wrapped confines, trying to get an idea of where I was. Alright, check with the chat. Do a flip. He did the Yakuza 3. Biff Tannen appears behind him and says, "Go ahead, kid, jump." To be honest, that sprite cracked me up when I played it. It's just like he's just like, whoop, there he goes. You think the roof would be closed off in a private area to avoid this exact situation? I don't know. Even the amount of triple dots is down to a letter with the fic. Ellipses. One Inco wanted to be reborn as Ghost Girl and instead got reborn as Gator Girl. So, does he retain all his memories and state of brain as a gator toddler? That's a neat fantasy. Isn't the fic itself, like, also not finished? He'll be a child prodigy, yeah? Baby Inco needs to convince his parents to buy Snoot Coin. All the insight about the future will make him filthy rich. You need to do Lilo and Stitch voices with this story. No, I'm on low energy right now. He will have a harem of big bitty elf girls who look way too young. Okay. There I saw a shoreline with a giant concrete bridge that ran to another shore. Road stretching beside watery cliffsides, the sea constantly battering against them as calmer, sandier beaches could be seen in the distance beside a bustling town, while further inland was devoured by lush natural forestry. And beyond that, a towering mountain, the dormant volcano that the island formed from. I knew this place, having seen the travel blogs, posters, and ads. The caldera and vol of Volcadera Bluffs. Manu Ahi. Toru. I see you've already named your child. Yeah, Lanny and I decided it before we... I could feel his chest rise and fall with a sigh. Found out about his condition. Rest assured, I believe you two will be great parents. Thanks. I tried escaping again, unable to comprehend just what the fuck was going on. Now, right inside here, Toru gestured as he opened another door, Dad nodding as we entered, leaving the hallway. Oh boy. There was a bed, curtains pulled back. Oh no. It's Forever Snoot all over again, isn't it? I'll drink to that. Oh boy, welcome back, Forever Snoot. Welcome back. A beautiful coral-stained Chronosaurus with thick, wavy, and coarse black hair that ran over her shoulders. She looked so exhausted, yet upon seeing me, she perked up despite her condition, blue eyes widening as she reached out her arms, finned like her Lipluridon husband. Scott, is he? He's okay, Lanny. Inco's okay. Lipluridon, identified as Scott, approached Lanny with me in his arms. Save your strength. You've done so much already. She stuttered, looking as if she were about to cry, as she took me into her arms. When they said he wasn't breathing, I was so worried. It's okay. It's all fine now. He came up beside the bed, sitting on a chair to slowly hand me over to her now held in the Chronosaurus's claws as she looked at me. And she smiled, so happily and serene and full of joy as her claws slowly rose to run over my head, tears beginning to freely run from the sides of her eyes. I managed to tear my gaze away, desperately trying to distract myself. And I did, with a new shock upon seeing one of those clocks perhaps meant for dementia patients. The type that displayed the time, the day, and the month. He went back in time. Uh-oh. The year. 201 and 2005 BC. Inco didn't just get hit in the next week. He got hit so far into time, he came back around again. It was broken. It had to be. Someone had set it up wrong. Maybe someone was playing a mean prank on the elderly. Someone was playing a cruel joke on me. He has your scales and ridges. Scott smiled, kissing her cheek before pulling back, holding me alongside her. And he's got your eyes. It wasn't supposed to be like this. None of this was supposed to be like this. He's our miracle, Annie. No. Please don't say that. I'm not your son. I shouldn't be. I managed to finally wrench my tiny right arm from the confines, trying to push myself away from all this. Yet any strength I could have mustered just ended up looking like I was grasping against their fin out of curiosity. My own fin not even fully grown. Yet I find it almost impossible with my left claw for some reason. My precious Moo. Wani spoke the last word in some native tongue, then reached between a crevice and gently grasped my left arm, my entire body freezing up as she brought it out. I saw it. A nub. My left arm, or more accurately, a blue scaled stub that ended halfway up the forearm, my eyes slowly widening. This bitch ate my arm! My claw. I had no claw. I wish I could have brought you in this world complete, but I was hungry. I was reborn into the past of a familiar world, and despite the changes, it now felt no different than how I had left the last. Incomplete. Just hard cuts to the menu. Ugh. This bitch ate the rest of my mod! The baby sprite be like. Toku. That'd be funny. No interracial mixings here. No skinny mixed race couples here. That's only for the MC. The Oplerdons have telepathy, don't you know? Where's his arms? The baby is floating. It's all that Inco telepathy or whatever. Telekinesis. He's using his brain. Nothing says taking responsibility for your actions like wanting to be isekai'd. The baby sprite made me laugh hard when I first played this mod. Yeah, the new sprites definitely felt like Forever Snoot. So this is going to be a gold mine. I hope this isn't offensive, but I'm in the wrong sort of way. I'm looking forward to this. I need some more silliness of Forever Snoot in the wrong sort of way. Hey, Kissif. This is one Inco we're talking about. Build the arcane propulsion arm. It all comes back to Metal Gear Solid 5. So was he actually reborn, or did his sprite take over the body of, or spirit of, take over the body of someone else? I don't know. You'd probably have to read the fic, I guess. I'm not. I don't really read much anymore, and a lot of fanfics are just kind of trash. Let's be honest. I think I'm going to read the fic out of curiosity. I have many questions. We'll go for it. The fic is good. I don't know. Well, I'll wait for a visual novel because I'm lazy and I have other things to do. I have other mods to play. Oh, that's about half an hour or so. Not bad. Trying to think, because we still have to finish Don't Wani, then we got the T Word, then we got Revenge of Montezuma. I'm thinking, because I really have to catch up with War of the Lions. I gotta push out Apuna. I don't know if I'll just turn on Apuna right after the stream and we can just try and get that finished up. But yeah, I want to get that out of the way and then start on War of the Lions so I can be fresh when the remaster drops. I might just get it day one, I don't know. I don't want to, but I feel like I'm obligated being a fan of that game specifically, you know? I don't really read much anymore. As I talk and read visual novel. Well, I don't read, like, you know, fan fiction or whatever. If I don't have to read, I don't. I'll read my video game, sure. The original kid probably died, and Inco took the uninhabited body. How is he going to even act when he grows up? It's going to be so weird being like Thinko. Like, oh, I got all this brain power. Like the Illuminati will probably specifically search you out. Just to take you out, man. Ain't no way they're letting something like that fly. I have a better theory. Inco survived the fall and fell into a coma, and his dream is him being reborn as a dino. That makes more sense. You read, not read. I don't know. Jimmy Neutron. Now, whatever happened to Jimmy Neutron? I feel like that didn't really get the send-off it deserved. Instead of Jimmy Neutron, we get like shitloads of less than mediocre Fairly Odd Parents. Like, ever since Jimmy died, Fairly Odd Parents were getting worse and worse. The Inquisition wants to know his location. And I guess we'll probably just wrap it up. I don't know what I'm going to do about my headset thing. It's only 5:48, so maybe I'll take like an hour or so to charge this thing and we'll come back with Apuna. Sounds like a plan. I'm gonna go do that then. Yeah. If you're there, you're there. If not, then whatever. I'll see you next time.